Jazz Chisholm, what on earth did we just witness? Welcome on in, guys, to the PHNX Dbacks podcast. I am your host, Damon Fairall. I got my guy, Kevin Thomas. As always, almost, it feels like at this point, hitting the ones and twos, making me look good. And Derek Montilla is still out of the country. But we got a lot to talk about today. We got more reports regarding Mike Hazen, the MLB Trade Deadline, if the Diamondbacks should buy or sell via Nick Piecoro of the Arizona Republic and azcentral.com, as well as we're going to talk a little bit about Jazz Chisholm's disaster class in the home run derby last night and what we want to see from Arizona Diamondbacks players in the All-Star Game later tonight. So going to be a good time. Going to have a great time on this show. Appreciate everybody for being here. Jay Cuddy, loving the Jazz cancel logo in the back of the thumbnail. Thank you, sir. I put a lot of time and effort into that. Michael Dixon pulling out his thesaurus early in the day here at noon, giving us ominous title. Love it, Michael. Love the big words. Maybe you should be the one with a microphone in front of your face, my brother. But got a lot to talk about. Before we do, Kevin, did you watch the home run derby at all last night?
Like I said, I was going to boycott it. I did place a bet on James Wood, so I tuned in for the early portions of the home run derby. And then as soon as I got the vibes that James Wood was not winning it, which was pretty much the third batter, I tapped out. I did tap out. And then I did check Twitter, and I saw Jazz Chisholm's stats from the home run derby. And let's just say that Geno can do it better in one night than Jazz can do over the course of literally a practice session.
Yes, you have that on the money, Kevin. Obviously, we all know Eugenio Suarez hit 4 home runs in a baseball game this year. Jazz Chisholm in a home run derby, 3 home runs. 3 home runs from Jazz Chisholm. I saw a great tweet, Kevin. It was a video of Pete Alonso putting up his home run derby trophy in the air, and it said Jazz Chisholm if murdering worms in Atlanta was the goal of the competition.
I saw that one as well. I also saw one of a similar GIF. I don't think it was Pete Alonso, though, but a similar home run derby winning GIF of someone saying Jazz Chisholm if it was a single home run, like it was a singles derby, and you could just hit, bloop singles and,
you would have been unreal.
Singles that have the announcers going, that ball had eyes. That's a Jazz Chisholm special right there.
Absolutely. Mark R puts here in the chat, if it were in Yankee Stadium, Jazz might have been able to win. But everybody else gets to play in Yankee Stadium too. Maybe if you put Jazz in Yankee Stadium by himself and everybody else is in Atlanta and you just let that guy hit off of a Little League, Cracker Jack box fence, that could be helpful. But unfortunately, if like Matt Olson and stuff were getting to swing into that Yankee Stadium front porch, I'm not sure Jazz has any chance of winning. Not saying Geno would have won even. You never know. I mean, I'm not going to say that he had zero chance of winning, but I know for a fact he would have put up more than 3 home runs. And go check it out on my Twitter account. I tweeted it last night at Damon Dog. Kevin, I'm just happy we didn't have to see an Arizona Diamondbacks logo on our screens last night. Can you think about the ratings?
I mean, they would have plummeted damn near immediately.
Oh, my
I think
God.
that as soon as they show Geno Suarez, the ratings, they stay the same.
People turn off their televisions.
Well, wait, they might even turn on the television. But then, when they show what team Eugenio Suarez plays for, people would have come to their senses and realized we can't enjoy a small market player participating in a home run derby. This is about New York. This is about LA. This is about Brent Rooker. I mean, Las Vegas. This is about all types of different stuff that isn't Eugenio Suarez's team. But no, I think your tweet was apt. And also, sure, maybe Eugenio Suarez doesn't win it, but we don't know if he would not have won that. Obviously, this is something that Eugenio Suarez wanted for himself this weekend. This is something that
he said as such.
Yeah, this is something that he kind of really wanted to do. And I think that has to be taken into account. If he got the opportunity, who knows what he could have done, but he never was given the opportunity. So now it's what if week, is rank week here. Maybe in a couple years we'll be like, what if Geno Suarez got into the home run derby? You know what I mean? Who knows? Yeah. Maybe they turn it all around.
It's just another 513 from O'Neal Cruz was dope. That was insane. And if you listened to our show yesterday and you listened to what I had to tell the people, Bet365 had a super boost yesterday, Kevin, for the longest home run to be 479.5 or longer. Of course, I cashed on that with our friends at Bet365. And Bet365 is one of our presenting sponsors today. I should mention that off the top. Go ahead and download that Bet365 app. Use our promo code of PHNX365 when you sign up. And then as well as download the Game Time app and use our promo code of PHNX. Get $20 off when you sign up on that first purchase. So Game Time, Bet365. Appreciate you guys for presenting this fine program. But that was easy money, Jay Cuddy.
On the topic of Bet365 in the All-Star Game, you are a much more well-renowned betting analyst than I am. Is betting on the All-Star Game a thing that people do? I threw out a little...
You bet on the home run derby. I don't know if you bet on the All-Star Game, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it feels like just such an unpredictable beast. Like, you don't even know, like, the level of effort or the level of... It's baseball, right? Yep. So, like, Paul Skeens could go out there. It's Paul Skeens. He's going to take it serious. But, like, let's just say he doesn't take it that serious. Everyone's like, oh, well, the NL's got to shut out. It's got to be a nerfy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden he throws a meatball and he just gets taken yard. And all of a sudden, yeah, like Mark says, if you do bet on the All-Star Game, you should call the hotline. But yeah, I just wondered if you were having any action on that.
Gambler.
I did throw an over 1.5 runs in the first 3 innings bet out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are a degenerate like that, Kevin.
There's just nothing else to
there
hit.
Isn't. Well, Caitlin Clark.
Well, yeah, we could talk about that in the AZ Wildcats pod. Tune in for that later. But yeah, no, Caitlin Clark over 16.5 lock.
Are you guys talking? I mean, are you guys seeing that? Let's just derail this conversation for a second. Are you folks at home seeing that? Caitlin Clark, 16.5 points. I mean, have you ever seen anything you like more in your entire life? National TV, the whole world watching. Oh my God, I can't wait. Can't wait for tonight. But I'll be having it on dual screen and a little MLB All-Star Game as well. Just the home run derby obviously didn't hit my bet. Matt Olson didn't show up in the first half of his round. Second round, he was going ballistic. The crowd was getting into it. It was exactly what I envisioned. But he hit like 1 home run in his first half of his swings that he was given. So unfortunately didn't have it there. James Wood, Kevin, didn't have it in his bag. Damn. It was not a great call from you, my guy.
Awful call, actually, some might say.
I mean, it's not as bad as anybody who might have put money down on Jazz Chisholm to win the home run derby.
Did people outside of one of the boroughs do that? Like, is that something?
I'm sure
that anyone actually did.
Some Yankees fan did it. I mean, there's Yankees fans all over. That's what you have to.
Okay,
they're
fair.
vermin. You know, they pollute this country all over.
Invasive species.
Yes. As much as I actually don't go after Yankees fans very often because my dad kind of grew up a Yankees fan before the Dbacks were a thing, but I direct all my hate towards the Dodgers. I have hate in my heart for one team, and they get all of it. They get 100% of it. Jay Cuddy said, "Poor James, he was my pick after Cal and Cruz." And it looks, honestly, Kevin, the odds makers must know what they're doing with that home run derby, right? Because Cal Raleigh was the favorite, O'Neal Cruz was second. They it just felt like they had a good read on exactly how it was going to go, and maybe they are smarter than me and you.
Can I actually, you know what? I'm going to throw myself on the screen here for this one because I saw a tweet. This is not an original thought, but I think you'll be in alignment, shout out to the Suns, about this take. They got to bring back the old format of the home run derby where the guys can admire their work for a second.
Yeah.
Where they're not just ripping a home run. Like O'Neal Cruz hitting that 510 plus feet, whatever, if it was 13, if it was 18, whatever it was.
Throw his bat in there.
I want him to sit there and watch it for 5 seconds while it's hanging in the air and wonder where the hell it went. Maybe celebrate with somebody. Be like, oh, he hit that bomb. And then we can get back into it. As opposed to just spamming the swings. And then all of a sudden there's thank you. There's you know what I mean? Like a line of players in the timeout where it's like, all right, this guy's gassed. You have I'm assuming a rules analyst talking to them like, all right, after this timeout, you have the X amount of swings and X amount of time. It's like, let the guy hit the ball and let him watch it fly. It's the home run derby. That's why we're here. This is not how fast can you hit 10 home runs? This is how far and how many can you hit. And so I was watching it And yeah, the pace was awesome, but I feel like it actually kind of limited the experience of watching the home run derby. I'm not going to say it was part of the reason why I didn't finish the home run derby, but I can't say that it wasn't, right? Maybe if I'm watching it and it's a little bit more cinematic, I stay throughout my moving process and have it on my phone and I watch, right? But I just, throughout the course of my day, there's no reason for me to have it on if Geno isn't in it, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like an assembly line of people hitting home runs. Yeah, I don't know. Do you feel like they should bring back the old format?
I don't know about the old format. I do like the head-to-head. I think that's pretty fun that they do, but I will say that I definitely think that the time constraint on it doesn't need to be a thing, right? What are we doing? Why are we trying to get this in within a certain amount of time? Like, this is, if you're watching the home run derby, you want to watch the home run derby.
Exactly.
No one's sitting there being like, I need a home run derby, but I actually need 85% of the time that you guys put on this home run derby. Just crunch it down a little bit, and then I'll be super locked in. It's like that's kind of an odd way of going about it.
Additionally, like this, we were talking about the best All-Star Game festivities across all the leagues.
Yeah.
And how the NBA dunk contest has such high potential, but such low realized potential in the modern era. I think in part because it feels like just an extra thing that a player is going to have to do over the course of the All-Star week when players already have to do all this. I'm not boo-hooing for all the hundreds of millionaires that, get to play a game. But what I am saying is we all have jobs. And if you just add another task into our week, we're probably less likely to want to do that task, even if it seems like on the outside a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
I think if you put a time limit on these guys, you make it look like an exhausting task. You make it seem like something that you're going to be tired after doing. I think after a couple years, you're going to see less elite hitters want to do it. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I feel like you want it to be fun. You want it to be laid back in a way. You want it to feel like, hey, if you're an elite hitter and you made the All-Star game, show it off. It's as opposed to like, well, I know, I'm trying to rest this week and I don't want to, forget that. Forget the time limit. Let the boys hit bombs is what I say. You know what I mean?
Ernesto here in the comments says they should add the ABS challenge system or a form of that to the Derby. Explain. I want to know. I want to know more about your thought process, because I'm not out on it. I just need to know specifically what you're saying, and let's fix the home run derby together. Together we can make a change. But it was fun for the most part. I mean, it sucks not watching Geno. I will say that, like, the way in which Jazz flamed out was so laughable that it almost was like best case scenario in a way. Best case scenario is Geno's in the home run derby. But if they're gonna snub Geno for Jazz, wasn't that the way in which that you'd want to see it happen, Kevin?
Oh, 1,000%. You have not only egg on the face of the decision makers for this, but you also make them eat crow in the same sitting. You usually get one or two of those, but they got egg on their face while they're eating crow. And I think it's a beautiful thing. Because, you do snub Geno, and we've outlined it multiple times on this pod. And in that reality, I think this is the best case scenario, because it truly shows that you can't just plug and play a guy from a big market for a guy that's deserving of that spot. And it's not going to work out 9 times out of 10, I feel like. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just it's such an encapsulation of how baseball has fallen, right? Like that, like, you could put it into a vacuum and be like, that is example number one as to what has gone wrong with Major League Baseball over the years, where, even in a sport where every team inherently has a chance of winning, like more so than other sports, right? Like, I'd say hockey and baseball are the two sports in that regard. And right, Kevin, where, like, it's like, if you make playoffs, you have a good chance of winning it. It doesn't matter if you've been the best team all season long. NBA, NFL, usually, like, there's like a difference between the last playoff teams and the true contenders. But in the MLB and in the NHL, you kind of just have to get in the dance. And it's like, it's so funny that baseball has taken that and been like, we are a sport that everyone has a chance, even the small market teams. And we're going to do everything in our power to market it and cater it towards the big market teams. And it's just like, that's just so ridiculous, man. You guys, the format of your sport is inherently, like, better for competition. And you guys are running away from that in the name of, well, the Dodgers can pay Shohei Ohtani $2 million this year and $70 million in 2055. And that's cool with us because they can afford to do that, whereas no other team can.
You know, I love this analogy. Shout out to Greg McElroy, because I'm going to continue to use it probably for the rest of my life. But we were talking about yesterday, like, if you're marketing your league, just doing your biceps, your legs are going to become weak. Like, the All-Star Game, that's not the place to try to get more big market fans.
That's the opposite.
Like, the big market fans are already there, and they're tuning in 3 times a year, and the All-Star Game is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I think this is your chance to create household names in small markets. Like an Arizona Diamondback, like Eugenio Suarez, who might get traded in like a week. You know what I mean?
To the Yankees.
So it's like, if Eugenio Suarez was allowed in the home run derby, like, let's just say he wins the thing. Even if he finishes in the top 3, but let's just say he wins it. You create how many fans in the state of Arizona that really didn't care about baseball before, but, oh, we have a home run derby winner? That sounds cool. Maybe I check it out. Maybe I go to a game. That's how you create fans.
100%.
You don't need more Yankees fans. You don't need more Dodgers fans. And I'm not saying that because we don't like Yankee and Dodgers fans. I'm saying that because there's already a ton of them. You don't need to grow that brand. It's an automated machine at this point. It's going to grow itself. But like the small markets that are being threatened with moving to Utah, for example, those fan bases need nurturing. Those fan bases need help. And I think that like the All-Star Game is a great way to show all the big market fans what you're cooking in the small markets, unless you're not cooking anything at all. And then you're just focused on how can we get a Yankee into the home run competition. But that's where I'm at. I feel like that was the biggest miss. I know the Geno thing is we love to talk about it, and that's our guy and whatever. But beyond all else, like the MLB, this is an example of them not properly marketing their game year after year after year. And this is you talk about it all the time, lack of self-awareness. You know those brands are big. You don't need another one Yankee fan because they saw Jazz Chisholm hit 1 home run in the home run competition. You need more Diamondbacks fans. You need more fans of Eugenio Suarez. You need his story to get out there. You need to tell his tale to the public. So, yeah, that was kind of bothering me as you were going on that. But,
Mark, you're right. I mean, like, that is, very true, like, what you're saying. You're not saying anything incorrect. It's just, I think it's just short-sighted. In the long run of your popularity of your league, I think that you need a strong base of fans from top to bottom for all the teams in existence, not just 5 strong fan bases and 25 fan bases that are apathetic towards their teams. And that's where catering to solely big market teams is a big, massive issue. Like, I always hear Dodgers fans say to me in response when I'm, getting into Twitter wars with them. I know that's shocking to everybody, but they always say to me, like, your team can do deferrals too. And the Diamondbacks have done some deferrals, but the level to which you can do deferrals when you're the Dodgers versus everybody else, when you have your own television contract versus the Diamondbacks, losing their Bally's contract last season. Like, we are talking about 2 different worlds of money and resources and ability to put money on the back end and lay it away. Like, that's just not the reality that these small market teams have. And I know that we've come a long way from talking about the home run derby. It's just a perfect encapsulation, in my opinion, of just exactly how Major League Baseball has done everything in their power to you basically throw the smaller market teams to the side in favor of the big market teams. And it's just, in my opinion, it's not the way to build your business. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe in the long run, I turn out to have egg on my face, but I just think that you see what the NFL is doing, you see what the NBA is doing, and to me, it's pretty obvious popular sports are going towards trying to have the most parity in their league as possible, and making your stars irregardless of what franchise they suit up for, right, Kevin? Like, isn't that kind of the point?
No, 1,000%.
Josh Allen is a megastar. Patrick Mahomes is doing commercials with Messi. The guy plays for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah,
like, this is, you don't need, in the NFL, it's about how good you are as a player. It's not about what team you play for. And in the MLB, it's just not that at all.
And I think, like, it's a cliche, but it's true. Like, a rising tide raises all ships. And I think, like, if you see just a couple franchises getting propped up, I think that you will also see a shrinking of the overall fan base of the game, right? I think, like, what the NBA is doing, I know that they're sinking a lot of money into the WNBA, and maybe, you have opinions on whether they should be sinking that money in there or not. Regardless, the outcome is increased fans in the game of basketball.
Yeah.
Right? You have fans that were not exposed to it prior to that. Now they're exposed to the game, and that's their in. That's their way in. So I think if you just focus on the big markets, if you just focus on the New Yorks, the Texases, the LAs, right? Like, I think I think then you shrink the game nationwide, and it's not, conducive to growing the league as a whole, right?
It's the same argument as like, why is a beer $18 at a Diamondbacks game when not, and that's cheaper for most major league teams. When if they made it $10, I'm buying 3, but if they make it $18, I'm buying 1. I just think it's short sighted. They try to grab as much money as possible from people in the short term versus in the long term. What does that cost you in opportunity costs? Michael, you're right. I agree. Like I did preface this conversation by saying that baseball has inherently way more parity as a sport. It's just always bound to be that way. I just think that because of that, Major League Baseball should be pushing that, but instead they almost go the opposite way because they feel that the parity like hurts their popularity in a way. Like they're like, oh my God, we would prefer the Dodgers and the Yankees played every World Series against each other all the time. Whereas every other sport is like, let me run away from that as fast as possible. Mark says it makes more sense when you consider they're trying to grow the game globally, even more than they are in the U.S. And that is 100%. We talked about this yesterday, Kevin. Like they are more concerned about growing the game in Japan and having all the Japanese people watch every Dodgers game than they are about making Arizona Diamondbacks fans love their team, than making Miami Marlins fans love their team. And I think that is, from a business standpoint, yeah, is it probably the best option for them to be the most sustainable and have the most money and the most, cut out like space that is theirs in the sports world? Yes. But does that suck for all the people that are fans of the 25 other franchises in the league? 100%. And I think that you can't really have both. I don't know what the fix is, but I'm never going to be of the opinion that we should cater to, the masses to screw over the few just because that's the best way for baseball to make money. Baseball has a lot of money.
I also wanted to mention, like, in response to what Mark is saying, because Mark's correct. Like, Japan has roughly the population of all the East Coast states combined. It makes sense that you'd want to grow the game there. In a place that already loves the game itself. Like, it's not like the NFL going over to Germany where no one cares about American football and trying to make them care. This is MLB capitalizing on an unrealized opportunity, right?
Yeah.
But I also think that does not mean that, like Damon is saying, you can't market the teams that are already there to the markets that are existing right now today. Like, I think that, for example, I know it's kind of a meme on the internet at this point, but like there's no reason that the MLB social media pages should be posting primarily Dodger stuff. I understand that like you should post maybe predominantly the big market stuff because it's going to get the most clicks and the most money and the most interactions.
There's been times where I checked the Instagram and it's legit like 19 of 20 posts are Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers.
Exactly. And if it was like, honestly, if it was 10 out of 20, I would get it. Half of it, like I get that. But they don't do a good enough job of selling what's already there domestically. Mm-hmm. Like they're not taking care of home first. They're worried about their neighbor's house burning down or they're actually not burning down. I shouldn't say that. They're worried about their neighbor's house being built before they finish their downstairs renovations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you just, I feel like while you can grow the game globally and it be great for the MLB, that doesn't mean you have to completely abandon like the Rockies and completely abandon the Marlins and the Dbacks. Well, there are stories going on that should be told.
That's proven in the way in which the NFL and NBA globally market their games. Because it's not like those sports are just like straight up not trying to market their games worldwide, right? Like the NFL is doing games all over the world now. They have a Germany game and they have an England game, or I think 2. They've done Mexico City games. They're doing aren't they doing a Brazil game this year?
I believe so.
Isn't that going to be like Eagles? Yeah, Sao Paulo,
Brazil.
And it's the Chargers are going to be playing in that one.
Brazil.
So, it's week 1. It's Chargers Chiefs.
The most Brazilian matchup of all time. Come on.
And, they played a game in Brazil last year, Eagles Packers. That's why I thought that. So it's like, that sport is doing it in a way that works. The NBA bends over backwards for China. They do. But that doesn't mean they're going the opposite direction of we want the Thunder and the Pacers in the finals because those teams are fun and people like watching good basketball. You know what I mean? So it's the NFL Europe stuff. I think that it's just, it's not as popular as baseball in Japan. That's a fact. if you're comparing those together head to head, no doubt about it. But I do think that football is a lot more popular in Europe than it used to be because of their efforts to make it so. So like people in England and stuff like football more than they ever have. But it's just it's a crazy world, Kevin. It's a crazy league.
We live in a society.
We do live, in fact, in a society, and it's unfortunate when you're a fan of a smaller market team like we happen to be, because it feels like you kind of get kicked to the curb and screwed over all the time. And from a money making standpoint, from a business standpoint, all of it makes sense. But it just, at what point do you not cater to the big market teams and screw over your smaller market teams all the time? I just think something needs to be done.
Yeah, no, and to summarize like what my grander point was in response to Mark's, because like I think it's a very intelligent thing to grow the game in Japan, but also like what I'm really saying is you got to market what you already have domestically as well, and you can't let the stories that are actively going on in the MLB right now get out ahead of what you're trying to do overseas. Like if you, let's say All City expanded tomorrow to a new city, right? They wouldn't tell us like, hey guys, we expanded to wherever city, no more of any content we're going to post from PHNX because we're just solely trying to focus on this new city. And it's like, that's not how you grow anything, right? Now you're shrinking what we do, but you can do both simultaneously and grow them both in a beautiful way. So yeah, I just wish the MLB was better at marketing the stories that they have in their lap.
Absolutely. We're going to talk more about the MLB All-Star Game, what to expect from Diamondbacks players, and we'll do that right after the break here on the PHNX Dbacks show. First, let's talk about our friends at Branded Bills. I'm still waiting on Branded Bills to make some more Arizona Diamondbacks stuff, Kevin, because I know they did that golf hat that... Is it behind me? I don't think it's behind me anymore. But it's a beautiful hat. It's got the golf sticks on it. It's got an Arizona Diamondbacks logo right in the middle. And it just got me a craving for more Arizona Diamondbacks branded Bills stuff. So whether it's a snapback, trucker, fitted beanie, or t-shirt, Branded Bills has you covered. They're a local company out of Mesa, Arizona. They are partnering with the Phoenix Suns, so maybe we could have some Arizona Diamondbacks stuff on the horizon. Kevin, there's one right over there under the big TV if you really wanted to go grab it. But over 40 partnerships with multiple universities, including ASU, U of A, GCU, you name it, part of the campus collection. We love the campus collection, and we love this Arizona Diamondbacks collab, of course, that they did with Branded Bills this year. It was given to, I believe, only season ticket holders. You had to have a special event pass, but isn't that baby nice looking? We love our friends at Branded Bills. Shout out Branded Bills for sponsoring this podcast. Head to brandedbills.com and use code BBPHNX for 15% off your first order. We also know it is the heat of the summer, and that means you need to keep your energy costs, your AC bill down as low as possible. That's where APS comes in. They got their smart thermostats that could be eligible for you as low as $0 to get it installed in your place. And did you know that with every 1 degree you raise your thermostat, you could save up to 2 to 3% on your cooling costs? You just got to remember to adjust your thermostat, and that can be hard when you're busy and when you're not at home. But here's where the smart thermostat comes in. You get an app on your phone. You can control it from your phone. You could set that temperature up during the off hours to save as much money as possible while you're not there. Cool it down an hour before you get home so that you're not walking into a hot house. I mean, they got it all covered over there at APS with their smart thermostat. Right now, APS customers may be eligible for smart thermostats as low as $0, as I already said. When you enroll in the APS Cool Rewards program, if you already have a smart thermostat at home, see if it's eligible to enroll in Cool Rewards. Plus, free install is available at marketplace.aps.com. Must be an APS customer and pay shipping and taxes. Other restrictions apply. Go to marketplace.aps.com for more info.
I got one of those in my new place, Damon.
Do you actually?
I genuinely do.
Wow.
I transferred my service with APS to my new spot, and
That's
I do
special.
have a smart thermometer in my new place.
Put yourself on screen for a second. I need to talk to you about this. What kind of bells and whistles are we talking here? Like,
with the thermometer?
Does
with
this
the thermostat?
does this thing look like it's from like the 22nd century?
Dog, hey, I'll keep it sweet, but I was actually talking to Jonna about this last night. It's a really for all my tactile people out there. It's a really satisfying mix of like the old rotary phone and all the new modern technology you need. Like I was setting up the Wi-Fi on there, and I'm typing in my password, and I'm just click. It was so satisfying.
That is pretty beast.
So from setup to actual like using of the thermostat, whatever, it's beautiful. I love it so much.
Yeah. Basketball and football guy says, Kevin, talk about his new place. He's never talked about that. Tell us more.
Save it for the AZ Wildcats pod, man. That's our whole first segment today. I think
it is our whole first segment today. We're gonna go crazy, which is at 7 p.m. So if you're an Arizona Wildcats fan, AZ Wildcats pod listener, we are actually gonna be live at 7 p.m. doing the biggest what ifs in Arizona Wildcats sports history. That'll of course be debuting on the PHNX Dbacks show as well later this week. So stay tuned for that.
I also one of the spoiler alert. One of the what ifs on the AZ Wildcats pod is what if Kobe actually deletes his Twitter later. Some people are saying it would destroy the athletic program.
What if Kobe took the shot that Damon bought him at the hut?
Whoa.
Redacted.
Well, I guess, wait, does that fall under this show?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Right?
Okay, yeah.
Because it's
more on that later. More on that later. Let's get back to Dbacks stuff.
But that smart thermostat is special, Kevin.
It genuinely is special, yeah.
Do you have it to turn down on your phone right now?
No, I haven't. I'm not fully like set up in the, like I said.
You're not taking the fullest advantage of the APS smart thermostat right now.
I'm not.
Brother.
I'm actually still learning all the wonderful things that it can do for my place, like the schedule stuff, all that stuff. So yeah.
Kobe, of course, responding to what I just said to him. Fair enough, brother. Fair enough. But we do have the All-Star game tonight. We do have some Arizona Diamondbacks playing it. 3 Diamondbacks representatives, all hitters. Wow. No one saw that coming. How could it's only offensive players that are suiting up in the All-Star game for the D-backs? I thought we had so many stud pitchers on this team. But Kevin, if you told me that, by the way, before the season, if you looked at me and you said the Diamondbacks will have 0 pitchers on the NL All-Star game roster, I would have told you I am absolutely sick to my stomach. What happened? What kind of disaster happened? Where Corbin Burns and Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly, none of them are getting a bid. AJ Puck, none of these guys.
You would have been like, oh, so there's like 5 pitchers having a historic season above them, right? That's the only reason why. And I'd be like, no, Damon, I'm from the future, and it just doesn't work out. I'm sorry, buddy.
We do have 3 representatives, though. It's Eugenio Suarez, it is Corbin Carroll, and it is all-star starter Ketel Marte. It would be great if Geno hit 4 home runs. I would like to show the lineup card here. Our guys at DLS who are covering the game are in Atlanta. Took this picture of Ketel Marte on the field yesterday. Our sweet Ketel. Hitting third tonight for the National League All-Star team. That's just special, man.
I mean, I can't believe they put the logo up there. What are they doing? We're risking it all.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't say, hey, actually, we'd prefer if a Diamondbacks player was not in the starting lineup.
Could you imagine they just have like the MLB logo next to Ketel instead of the Diamondbacks logo? So it's just like Yankee logo, Dodger logo, MLB. Like if you're not if you're not on one of those 2 teams, you're just an MLB player on the game.
Absolutely. But just kind of talking more about what to expect in this All-Star game. We do have Corbin Carroll and some sound here on what he had to say regarding suiting up for his second All-Star game for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
They've both had great years. We've had a couple more teammates that also had some great years that didn't get chosen. But to be here with them means a lot.
Have you gotten in the pool yet?
In the pool?
The Diamondback Stadium?
Yeah, we did. I think it was when we clinched the playoffs.
Okay.
We ran out there.
Yeah. What about, just being here with your teammates and, second time around, All-Star game?
Yeah, it's great to have teammates here. It means, some guys got recognized, which is awesome, but I feel like there was a lot more players on our team that had great years that aren't here. But yeah, it just means a lot to be here. Like you said, second time, so hopefully a little bit more comfortable this go around.
Have you seen the quarterback documentary on Netflix or Starting 5 or anything?
I was trying to watch it last night, but it wouldn't download for my flight.
Okay. Well, if MLB made one, who do you think would be an interesting few guys?
Let's go. I feel like Kershaw would be a cool one. Kind of seems like maybe he's at a stage in his career where he'd want to do something like that, and I'd like to see it.
Cool. Thank you.
Sorry, guys. I just get a hold of myself for a second. Did he say Clayton Kershaw? Hell no. The question was, of course, if there was a quarterback-style MLB documentary, what players would be good for an event like that? And Corbin Carroll said, Clayton Kershaw? No, thanks. That sounds like Kirk Cousins ball. That sounds exactly like what I'm watching with Kirk Cousins on the screen in quarterback.
Minus Kirk O'Chain's persona. It would just be Kirk Cousins minus the fun parts.
That might actually be better.
Just like full cornball?
Yeah, I mean, so you think the Kirk O'Chain's thing is not cornball?
No, it's super cornball, but it's at least funny. You know what I mean? Like at least it entertains me.
That is a rare Corbin L, Jay Cuddy. I don't know how to. I didn't watch the full video. I watched more of the build up to it, and wow, that hurts a little bit.
What would your answer be? How would you correct Corbin Carroll?
That is an interesting question, right? I mean, for sure, Geraldo Perdomo. We all know that he needs to be one of the four. That's an easy number one.
Frog, him and his frog collection.
Correct. Frog Domo. I'm trying to think who else is like interesting. Let's put together a 4-man list.
Scherzer, known Parkway Central High School graduate, says Ernesto Esquer.
We got Verlander and Scherzer with Clayton Kershaw. I mean, if they really did like an all-time pitchers thing like that, it could be decent. But yeah, I think Paul Skeens would be interesting just because the Paul Skeens aura right now is so strong. People want to know about Paul Skeens.
The Livy Dunn cameos would do good numbers on social media.
Them sitting on the couch together, her talking and him just sitting there.
Tons of memes.
Just looking up at the sky or something. Just like, she's just like, yeah, Paul works so hard.
I will say Jazz, if Jazz was on the show and it took place this year, the hate watch that you could relive of the home run derby would be epic. Like they're
Jazz
just showing
would be an
like
interesting guy.
Video of him in the Sprinter van on the way to the home run derby, and he's like, "Yeah, man, this is so special. I've dreamed of this day." Like da da da. And then they're just playing all the hits, all the lowlights of him killing worms at Truist Park. You know what I mean? So yeah. No, I think that'd be cinema.
Yeah, it would be. I think Basketball and Football Guy says it here. Perdomo would be so fun in a series like that. He really would be. He's not a big enough star, but he really, really would be. I think like a guy like maybe like a J-Ram, Jose Ramirez could be interesting. He's a fun player. Maybe like a Vladdy Jr. We got some options here. That would be a fun series, though. I think I'd be more interested in that than the football version. Would you, Kevin? I don't really care that much. What am I going to get out of the quarterback show? I'm not going to get anything. I'd
be more interested in the MLB version from the sense of like, I don't know these people. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know like what.
They're way more of an unknown. Yeah. And also, I just think that like quarterbacks in particular are so media trained.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I'm just going to go out there and, give it my best and, trust in Jesus and, and it's just like, that's the whole show, isn't it?
Yeah. No, you're right.
Like if you're going to do Joe Burrow, I know Joe Burrow's on the last season. Is like, do they talk about like, again, I haven't watched it. Don't have much interest. Do they talk about him getting like his home invaded?
I haven't.
Because if they don't talk about that, then like, what are we doing?
I haven't seen the quarterback one. I have watched the starting five one, which I think is the same like EP.
That's more interesting to me as well.
And they do cover like the unfortunate passing of Jay Butler's dad. Like they cover that. They cover the real life stuff that goes on. I haven't watched quarterback, but I would assume because it's the same production team that they cover the same topic matters.
Yeah, I actually think that the starting five seems way more interesting to me. I don't know why. Yeah. I don't know why the NFL, which is, probably my favorite sport, if I'm being completely honest, is so uninteresting in that capacity for me.
I mean,
I don't feel like I'm going to get anything that I find remotely interesting out of any of those guys.
I think it goes back to the idea of just how like these leagues are marketed. The NBA is marketed in a way where like you follow the players. Mm-hmm. You follow, like there's like almost like a parasocial aspect of it to where like you're watching it because you want to hang out with Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
You want to know what Jimmy Butler's like when he's not playing at the highest level of basketball, because you see his face, you see his celebrations, you see what he does after games. Like there's a fashion show pretty much every night in the NBA. So like there's a parasocial thing there where like you want to think that you could hang out with Jimmy Butler and have a good time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think like with the NFL, like it's much more like result based. Like you don't really care what Sam Darnold does in his personal life because Sam Darnold's not one of the best in the league. You know what I mean? And I think that like you care about what Patrick Mahomes does to an extent because he's the best. But I do think like you're right with the quarterbacks. There's just less general interest in their personal life because that's not how they're marketed. They're marketed as football players. But I think basketball guys, they're marketed as Jimmy Butler, the Miami Heat. Well, I guess not anymore. Sorry about that. That was unintentionally rude. But like Jason Tatum, the Boston Celtic, like, you know what I mean? Steph Curry, the Golden State Warrior.
Jason Tatum, the Gatorade hander.
Wow.
Well,
Wow.
you went at me, so I went at you.
Mine was unintentional.
Welcome to the show.
Well, the Arizona Diamondbacks in the All-Star Game.
Ketel Marte just walked the red carpet at the MLB All-Star Game. He is wearing a teal suit. His family all has teal suits on as well, and it is sleeveless, Kevin. Purple shoes.
Aura.
Ketel is literally begging for the purple and teal to be the main colors of this team. So is pretty much every player on this team at this point. But we're going to grab that video and play it here on air for you guys. We do have, of course, more to talk about on the side of things regarding, Eugenio Suarez and his comments he made about the New York Yankees. And the question he was asked about whether or not he could be traded to the Yankees and what that would do for them, but as well as the whole topic of conversation regarding what Mike Hazen said to Nick Piecoro of the Arizona Republic today. Kevin, I don't believe that is ready to go. Is it?
I don't believe either. I think I'm gonna have to do some massaging to the Ketel video. It's too hot for broadcast right now.
Would you mind getting that ready for us,
I'm gonna have
please?
to tone it down. Can we talk about Geno while I tone down the aura of Ketel Marte?
We absolutely can. Of course, Eugenio Suarez was asked the question at the MLB All-Star Game availability about whether or not he could see himself traded. I believe the question was specifically about the Yankees, and this is what Geno had to say in response.
With you maybe to the Yankees, how would you feel about a trade to a contender with maybe a better playoff chance?
I mean, Yankees is Yankees. I feel like it's a team who want to win. They had the test from last year, but they're hungry still. If I got over there, like I said, I would do my best over there, try to help them win the World Series.
Hurts to hear. Doesn't feel good at all. I think that one is one where he gets asked the question and Geno is such a polite, nice guy that he's going to answer the question that has been given. But I mean, Kevin, correct me if you disagree with me. Doesn't it kind of feel crappy to have a reporter ask a question like that when a guy's playing on another team that is not really fully out of it? It's not as if we're the Rockies. We're not we're not in the gutter of baseball. Like, the Diamondbacks are a team that was in the World Series 2 years ago, and you're legitimately just going straight up to a guy being like, hey, Yankees? Thoughts?
It's like, I don't want to turn this whole show into me being like, why is the league like this? But I think it kind of goes back to the thing of like when you draft an elite player like a Paul Skeens to an organization like Pittsburgh, and it's only a matter of days.
How can he get traded to the Red Sox, man?
It's only a matter of days before that kind of stuff starts coming out. So I think that this is just an extension of that, where you have a team underperforming in the Diamondbacks. And I mean, we were talking about it before the show today. If you look up Eugenio Suarez right now, it's not home run derby talk. It's not talking about the Arizona Diamondbacks. It's, can the Chicago Cubs poach Eugenio Suarez from the struggling Arizona Diamondbacks?
Yeah.
Can the New York Yankees get so-and-so from there? Like, it becomes that. But I think it's a product of the league pushing and funneling all of its stars into three cities as quickly as humanly possible.
It's just it really is an odd question. It does feel, though, and I don't mean to take too much from it, but the response to me sounds like a guy who is somewhat accepting of the fact that he probably will be on a new roster next season, or not next season, but next half of the season. So yeah, I mean, I hate the question. I think it's a little bit despicable.
Clown question, bro.
Being completely honest, absolutely a clown question. But I do think that we need to talk about what his response was in that, because it was a response that I think warrants noteworthiness. Like, it's a response where, I sit there and I think to myself, have they had internal conversations about, hey, Geno, we're probably going to find you a new home because a lot of teams are interested in you, a lot of contenders, and you're on the expiring deal. But as we mentioned yesterday on this show as well, Geno has mentioned how much he wants to stay in Arizona, how much he loves Arizona. I do think that you could be looking at a scenario where you do the old hezzy hay on him, Kevin, and throw him Geno in a trade. His contract expires, and then we go, hey, bro, what's up?
That's what we call
the
old two in the hand, two in the other hand kind of strategy. You know what I mean?
That's chestnut checkers, baby.
Exactly.
But, that's also me living in my fantasy society. We do, I think, have now our Ketel Marte video.
Yes, we do.
So why don't we go ahead and look at what Ketel's walk down the red carpet? Show the people.
Parental advisory is there.
Guy just epitomizes swag in every sense of the word. And he plays for my baseball team. Not your baseball team, my baseball team. But love Ketel Marte. Love that he's hitting third tonight. And love that these Diamondbacks players are representing people in the MLB All-Star Game. Jay Cuddy says, "Damn." And that's, I think, very apt given the outfit that Ketel Marte and family were wearing. We're going to talk more about Mike Hazen's comments that he made to Nick Piecoro, and we're going to do that right after the break here on the PHNX Dbacks show. But why don't we talk about Pure Edibles? You guys hear us talk about Pure Edibles all the time. We love supporting companies that are local, companies that are built out of the great state of Arizona.
The Freedom State.
The Freedom State. And Pure Edibles was created in Flagstaff, Arizona at the Noble Herb Dispensary, the home of Pure Edibles, and is now created right here in Phoenix, AZ. They have over 130 dispensaries statewide that sell Pure Edibles products. So go to your local dispensary, hit them up, see if they have Pure Edibles products at their spot. And if they don't, find yourself a new dispensary, right? Because they got the gummies, the Kicks, which is their version of the Starburst, their Chews, which are soft candies. They have their caramel, for example, and the hard candies as well. And the Pure Edible effects are listed right there in front of you for everyone to see very clearly. They got their enhanced sleep version, their uppers. I mean, you name it, man. Kicks has Pure Edibles, and Kicks has the absolute best products that you will find anywhere. Unique cannabinoids such as CBN, CBG, CBD, and marijuana-derived THC. They're designed to be ripped or bit in half and make them easily shareable or easy to dial in your exact dose. Go find yourself some Pure Edibles products from one of over 130 dispensaries across the state of Arizona. Or like I said, go find yourself a new goddamn dispensary. But we also want to talk about All Pro Shade Concepts. You heard me talk about it when I was talking about how hot it is in the summer with our other read, and now we're going to talk about it again because it is so damn hot in this place, Kevin, and it is almost unbearable to be outside. But if you want your outdoor living space to be bearable, then there are no other people to hit up than All Pro Shade Concepts. You're going to hit this number, 623-204-1476, or visit allproshadesconcepts.com to check out their over hundreds of options when it comes to custom fit awnings and shades from all types of colors and styles. You'll find something that meets and matches your outdoor living space and keeps it up to 20 degrees cooler in that hot AZ sun. Voted #1 by Ranking Arizona for patio shades in the year of 2024, and in business for over 20 years in the Valley. Started off making them by hand for friends, turned into something and snowballed into something much more beautiful. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Call 623-204-1476 or visit allproshadeconcepts.com right now to schedule your free estimate.
If you combine the All Pro Shades Concepts within the outdoors of your home with the APS, first of all, same acronym either way. I think that's symbolic in its own sense.
Mm-hmm.
But if you might never be hot again in the comfort of your own home.
No.
If you have an APS smart thermostat and the All Pro. If you got APS stacking on APS-C, you're killing the game. And I'm trying to get like you, my boy.
Isn't that the problem? You know, don't you just want to live in a nice, cool environment, right? Isn't no place like home, and no place like home when it actually is livable.
1000%. I mean, you say that's the problem, but if you ask Lions Den 1984, they say the problem with the Dbacks are timely hits, but the major issues are pitching and injuries. So AC, pitching injuries, little column A, little column B.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Lions Den is correct. It does feel for as good of a hitting team as the Arizona Diamondbacks are, it does feel as though they lack the ability to really get some of those like super timely hits in, right? And so that's going to be something that is going to have to change in the future here if you want to start winning more baseball games. But are we even going to win more baseball games? Is this a team that this organization is going to invest in, that Torey Lovullo and Mike Hazen are going to, look at and say, hey, should we put more resources into building this roster, or is that pretty much just the buck stops here, Kevin? Like, this is a season where maybe it's just time to give up. You find yourself a few games out of the wild card here, enough where I think that you start to raise questions about whether or not, buying is really the best option for this team. 5.5 games back as of right now. As we discussed yesterday, they're in 7th place in the wild card standings in the National League, which is a lot of teams ahead of them. And Mike Hazen today went on Arizona Republic, or not really went on, it's a newspaper, but talked to Nick Piecoro of the Arizona Republic for azcentral.com and had these quotes to say in regards to the conversation here. Mike Hazen said, I think we've definitely had our spurts where things look good. I think we have the ability to put things together, but at this point, with the position we've put ourselves in, we need to play pretty exceptional to move back up from where we are now. He went on to say that I don't want to sit here and hope that things are going to happen. I'm kind of done hoping. We want to see it happen. It is what it is. We've been waiting now for the better part of 3+ months. Pretty jarring comments there from GM Mike Hazen in regards to the reality of the Diamondbacks situation right now. I know Jesse Friedman, when we had him on Friday after the Diamondbacks walk-off loss to the Angels, Kevin, said similar, right? Like, at what point do you just say we can't keep believing in a team that is not producing the results we need to see? And when you start getting put at the back of a big group like that in terms of the wild card standings, it really just does raise questions for a team that you thought no doubt was going to be a contender, no doubt was going to be a buyer at the deadline, to ultimately end up selling some of their more valuable assets. So it feels like Mike Hazen is a little bit fed up with the way in which the direction of the team is going, and that Mike Hazen might be of the opinion that now is the time to get out on some of these expiring assets. It's something we haven't really heard from Mike Hazen up to this point. In the past, we had heard from Mike Hazen when he's gone on radio stations and whatnot, like, that we are going to buy. And he kind of put to bed the notion that selling was really even an option. But here you start to see that seems to be coming back down to earth a little bit more, because I think when Mike Hazen made those comments in the first place, the Diamondbacks had gotten the hardest part of their schedule out of the way. They were about a 500 baseball team, and they had an easy horizon in terms of teams that they had to play in the future. Mike Hazen probably was of the opinion that this team was going to perform much, much better than they did over that stretch, not going to have a losing record like they ended up doing. Probably thought they were going to have a winning record. And instead they don't, and they fall further in these standings. And it just raises the question of whether or not that is something that is worth investing in further. So I think you're looking at a real reality check here from the Arizona Diamondbacks organization in the coming weeks. Whether or not they will buy or sell. I think most Diamondbacks fans are probably hoping that Mike Hazen does a classic Mike Hazen, flip somebody who maybe is on an expiring for somebody who has a little bit more control. Go with that. I don't know how realistic that is. I think that obviously Tyler Glasnow is more valuable probably than anybody we got with the way Zach Gallen's been performing. But you look at the Tyler Glasnow trade that the Dodgers made. They bring in Glasnow. They give up Ryan Pepio, right? And or was it Efren? And Zach Efren is a good pitcher for the Tampa Bay Rays. And it just made sense for them at the time, right? Eflin, sorry, not Efren. That's Efron, Zach Efron, Zach Eflin. But yes, the Tampa Bay Rays, they made a great trade in terms of getting a guy with more control. Then they re-signed him for a more reasonable deal, and Zach Eflin's been more valuable to the team since, because Tyler Glasnow obviously has the injury problems. But I just think that you need to try to find a way to supplement this roster in the future, bring in people that are maybe ready to win now or a season away from ready to win now. You can't just punt completely, and I don't want your garbage heaps for really, really good baseball players. So it's going to be interesting to see what Mike Hazen and the direction that this organization tends to go in from here. Kevin, what do you think they should do?
Man, it is a brutal. I don't envy Mike Hazen's next 6 months as a decision maker for the Arizona Diamondbacks, mostly because he must be feeling, and he's probably a better man than me. He's probably not an excuse maker like I am, but he must be feeling pretty sorry for himself in a way. I know I would be, because you must be thinking, okay, well, I put together this awesome team on paper. The Arizona Diamondbacks have finally spent some money. We finally went out and got a guy like Corbin Burns for this franchise. Simultaneously, while you have an ace like Zach Gallen, Zach Gallen. I have a friend named Zach Gallen, ironically. But like,
does he play for the Denver Broncos?
No, different Zach Gallen.
Zach
Yeah,
Gallen.
actually, if you saw them in person, couldn't be any different of a Zach Gallen. But what I was saying was, like, Mike Hazen must be feeling pretty like, how did this happen to me? I put together such a good roster, and there's even if you told Mike Hazen, hey, we're going to have a couple injuries to this pitching staff this year, he's probably thinking, okay, there's short-term injuries. We can Band-Aid some things. We have about a gajillion starting arms at the MLB level. But the way that this season has gone, whether it be due to injuries, whether it be due to not having the right mix of guys on the coaching staff, whether it be whatever it is, I don't envy Mike Hazen's next couple of weeks here from a decision-making standpoint. If you ask me what I think they should do, though, sheesh, man. You have too much talent to just, like, punt, right? Or do you, I guess? Because, like I said, we've talked about it off air, you and I, you are what your record says you are at a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, at what point do you, like Hazen said, do you stop hoping that this team will certainly, they're talented, they're going to start coming through and the creme will rise to the top. But we are in middle of July and it's the All-Star break, and it doesn't seem like that's going to be happening anytime soon. So you almost get forced into a position of selling in a scenario where I think I'll say 7 times out of 10, you would never sell in those scenarios. So it's brutal for Mike Hazen these next couple of weeks, having to make the decisions that he's going to have to make, especially with a guy like Geno Suarez, who I'm sure is not just a fan favorite. I'm also, I would venture to say he is an organizational favorite as well. So yeah, I don't know.
Hazen went on to say that the question of whether or not they will buy or sell, he said that's a tough question to answer today on July 14th. So yesterday, said, once we get through the draft, I'll have to think about it a little bit more. I still don't think there's a lot of trades happening 2 weeks before the deadline where people feel satisfied with what they would get anyway. We're going to continue to have those conversations. So it doesn't seem as though anything is necessarily imminent on the trade front, that they're going to be selling tomorrow or before the start of the second half of the season. But it does seem as though that Mike Hazen is starting to open himself up more to the idea that this team just isn't going to really have much of an avenue to making the postseason, to going on a run, and that, maybe the best avenue for winning is in the form of 2026, in the form of 2027 and down the road rather than in 2025. But Kobe makes the point. It's also a seller's market. A lot of teams are competitive. A lot of teams are competing for a wild card. It seems as though the value you could get on these guys is probably going to be better this year than it would be in most years, would be my guess. But that's going to have to play out in the coming weeks. As Mike Hazen said, like, he's not necessarily getting the offers that you might get right leading up to the trade deadline right now, because teams just get, frankly, more desperate before the trade deadline.
I was going to ask you, Damon, do you think that, like, how do I phrase this? I guess I'm saying, like, do you think that Mike Hazen should use the Suns as a bit of a cautionary tale? Let me explain. In the sense that once they made, let's just say, the Kevin Durant deal, whatever deal you believe was the inciting point for this, every deal after that was Band-Aids to try to fix the mistake that they felt they had made. And it was, like we talked about earlier, short-term decision-making causing long-term problems for that organization. Do you think that if the Diamondbacks do, just for lack of a better phrase, flush 2025 and they do sell at the trade deadline, that would it feel like a Band-Aid fix, or would it feel like a resetting? Would it feel like this is not an inciting moment that will spark a downfall, not for the entire franchise, but for this iteration of this team?
I mean, I don't want to, it's hard to put a true definition on that, right? Because I don't know. It all depends on what you get back. Like, if you got back a, young, promising player that was a high caliber prospect in one of these deals or something, and then that guy starts hitting really good from the jump, and you're like, okay, now we have another building block for this future, I think you feel a lot better. But I will say that it does, in a way, almost feel like the window is kind of closed.
Yeah.
Because you're probably not going to have Zach Gallen. Merrill Kelly might be gone as well. Josh Naylor, Geno Suarez. I mean, you've lost a lot of pieces of the team that you thought was maybe not, necessarily the World Series team. I know Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly were on that team. The other guys weren't. But I just think that it feels a little bit like the window has kind of gone out the door on you, and that there's going to need to be some really, really big moves made in order to get this team back into a contention style kind of era. But I don't know, man. I don't want to put I don't want to, put my stamp on that, because I don't necessarily feel that right now. But it does feel like, as Kobe just said, that this year was the year, and that if they did have a good year, then they probably invest heavily next year. And you know what, that was like the snowball effect of we're in a really good spot. But it almost seems like now it's like, now we sell off the expiring deals, then we lose a lot of talent because we do so. And then how do we replace that talent? Because I don't necessarily think that trade deadline deals is how you recoup a ton of value, because oftentimes it's for expirings. It's, people that aren't super valuable that you're getting back in those trades. So it's a tough situation. It feels like the window is shutting pretty tight on us here, Kevin. And that's not a place you want to be in. But I appreciate everybody for being here today. Watching the PHNX Dbacks show. Julio, it's going to be okay, brother. It's going to be okay. I promise. We just need some deep breaths, man. Just some deep breaths. Shout out everybody for being here. Like I said, drop a like on this video. Helps us out so much. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. It's trying times as Dbacks fans. We thought we had a lot this year. We thought we had incredibly high expectations, and we had high expectations because we'd seen this team be so competitive before. And things just haven't broken this team's way this year, whether, it's individual games, whether it's the bullpen, whether it's injuries, you name it, man. But we're going to find out in the coming weeks here whether or not Mike Hazen and Torey Lovullo and co are going to end up selling a lot of players on this roster. But until then, we got All-Star Game tonight, so that's what we'll be tuning into. And we'll be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. because we have our What If episode debuting tomorrow at 7 p.m. So make sure that you guys are tuned in for that. The biggest what ifs in Arizona Diamondbacks history. Spoiler alert. One of them is what if Corey Seager doesn't hit a moonshot against Paul Sewald in Game 1 of the 2023 World Series. So appreciate everybody for being here. Drop a like on this video. Follow me at Damon Dog. It's the AWG. Follow Kevin at KevoPost, KEVOPOSTS. And follow us at PHNX_Dbacks on all social media. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Tune in for our What If show. And until then, remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when Jazz Chisholm is not on my home run derby screen.
We all silly like the mayor.